So you're a runner dealing with ankle pain, feet pain, and calf pain. I've done 22 marathons, 6 50-milers. I've qualified for the Kona Ironman World Championships twice. Of course, I'm human, and I've dealt with ankle and soleus injuries many times. So if you're a runner, share this video. If you know anybody, share this video so we can pinpoint how it happened, why it happened, and how to avoid it, strengthen the muscle. This way it doesn't happen again. So let's get after it. So first, let's understand the anatomy. The soleus is basically a muscle behind the calf, and that ties into the Achilles. So a lot of times if you have a tight Achilles, it could just be your soleus pulling on that Achilles to make it tighter and your calf being tight. So we have to assess it. Remember, we're dealing with the posterior chain, which basically our lower back ties into our glutes. Glutes go into hamstrings, hamstrings go to calves, and then the calves obviously go into the feet, and that's where a lot of the tendons tie into. So for example, it could be a tight calf, it could be your hamstring tendon as well, pulling on everything else. So we have to assess what is tight and what's happening. So it doesn't happen again, we need to pinpoint the exact day it happened. Now your body's very smart and it's gonna tell you why it's getting injured. Did this happen on hills, okay? So if this did happen on hills, have you done hills before? If you haven't, we can tell that you have weak feet, weak calves, and weak hamstrings. So we have to get in the gym and strengthen them. Did this happen because you progressive overloaded too much? If you went from 30 miles to 55, that shows that you're increasing too quickly and your body cannot handle it, so you have to slowly decrease your mileage to increase. Did this happen running 30 miles that you're used to, but one day you underfueled? Because if you did underfuel, maybe you're in a calorie deficit. And if you're in a calorie deficit, your body's gonna injure itself because it's saying, hey, we need more fuel to our muscles and our tendons because you are starving us and we cannot keep up with the workload. Once that happens, we can also assess mechanics. Are you a toe runner? This is very common for toe runners. Why? Because when you're a toe runner, you land and you absorb the impact through your feet to your calves and your hamstrings. If you're a heel striker, a lot of heel strikers are going to have hip bursitis, they're going to have tight hips a lot of times, or even quad issues. So we can also look at mechanics and maybe we need to switch them up a little bit, or maybe we just need to strengthen the muscles around them. So how we fix this is simple. Now, depending on your pain tolerance, if this is an injury that you're running when you start your run and it increases in pain, I would stop. Something's off. So if this is just an injury that you start running and it goes away, that's actually a good sign, right? It could be more tendonitis. It could just be a little bit of a strain that could go away and stuff like that. But if it increases, we stop. After it stops, we need to completely rehab the muscle. So how we rehab the muscle is very simple because there's not much we can do for calves. We can either stretch them, you can get dry needling, you can cup them, or you can grafting them. Now, grafting is this tool. It's a metal tool that you can get off of Amazon. And what you do is you basically go over the muscle and this breaks up the fascia. But especially for tendons and stuff, we don't get enough blood flow. So to heal a tendon, you want to bring as much blood flow to the surface and to the actual tendon itself. And the way that you do that is you break up the fascia in between it. So rehabbing could take 2 days, it could take 5 days. We just want to really stretch out that muscle, get the blood flow into it, dry needle it, cup it, grafting it. And then once the muscle itself is kind of soft, a soft, pliable muscle is a healthy muscle. There's blood flow there, it bounces back, there's no knots, it could stretch as far as it can. A muscle, when you touch it and it's hard, there's obviously an injury to it potentially. There's knots in there, it's lacking blood flow. It's not a good sign. So we want to do it until the muscle itself is soft. Once it's soft, now it's time to strengthen. Now calves we could do every single day because they are an endurance muscle. Yes, we use them whether we feel it or not. Now, we're not going to feel it because we're not building up lactate from walking a mile or anything like that. We use them every day. We're going to go into the gym, and instead of doing 4 sets of 10, you're going to build it up 4 sets of 25, 4 sets of 50, okay? I always like to go a little bit too far with the calves because I am a toe striker myself, but I've built my calves up tremendously throughout the years, so I do not deal with this injury. So once we strengthen it, then from there we can get back into our miles. Now, I suggest if you get injured at, let's just say, 40 miles a week, you just go into it for the first week. I know it's going to suck at 25 miles. And then from there, we assess, is there any pain? You keep up the strengthening, you keep up the conditioning, you keep up the pre and post run stretching and rehabs throughout your entire running career, and you will potentially never deal with this injury ever again. And then from there, the 25-mile mark, we can continue to progressive overload and get to that point. So that is what I would do. I've dealt with this before. That is what I've done. So I'm just practicing what I preach, giving this to you, giving the knowledge so you can pinpoint what happens, strengthen it, and become the best runner as possible. So share this video with someone if you ever dealt with ankle pain. Drop a video on how bad it was, or a comment on how bad it was, because I definitely have dealt with really bad injuries before. I'm curious. And from there, let's just make you better, brother. I'm out.